I have the fan on because it's oh so hot. I mean, oh so hot. So I can't not have the fan on. So I've learned. And yeah, here I am. Welcome to day 5, right? Day 5. Oh, look at that little high, little what is that called? Concealer being revealed. Being unconcealed. And welcome to day 5. We are on a roll, and by we, I mean me and all of this information. Um, it's day 5 of the background view, behind the scenes, and being the business savvy singer, if you will. Um, and I think that it's going really, really well. Finally, now gotten the sound together. Finally, now gotten the ambiance together. I don't know why I had that stand so high. There's nothing but like lots of space between. But yeah, we're here, uh, gathered together to learn more about being a professional singer, what that looks like, what that means, what that is. So initially, by initially I mean Monday, we discussed what is the first step of becoming a professional singer. On Tuesday, we discussed what's the difference between a professional singer and a hobby singer. Wednesday, we discussed establishing your rate. Yesterday, we discussed what is outside of your talents, what is your most valuable asset. And today on Instagram, we kicked off the discussion on what is the main business asset that you need and should develop. What is the main business asset that you need and should develop? So while we said, okay, thought I was gonna mess that up. While we said that time is your most valuable asset, there's an asset that you have to bring to the table as well. Time is something that you manage. You don't really own or have ownership on time. You can't, but you can manage it. And you can see yesterday we talked about on how doing that. However, one of the assets, and I said it earlier on Instagram because I start the conversation there, bring it on over here, but one of the main business assets that you need and should develop is self discipline. Now, some of this stuff might seem um, common sense, but it is okay. But you know what I've learned, and what me and one of my best friends always say: common sense is not all that common. And if we're being honest, I know of a lot of people who don't have self discipline and who are, singers or non singers, but who just don't understand or have self discipline, or who are trying to develop it later on in the game, which is nothing wrong with that because at least you acknowledge it and you're trying to develop it. But in doing that, it's harder, one, and then two, you have to you almost kind of got to start from scratch with yourself because how you move and maneuver is completely different. A person who is self-disciplined versus a person who doesn't, I'll speak in the context of singing or being a professional singer. It's completely different movements, right? So yeah. So with that being said, let's just jump into it. All right. So self-discipline. What I wanted to do was read this definition. It's interesting because I'm really big on words. I'm a writer, so I'm huge on words and like what they mean and like even defining things that I already know that I know what it means. Oh my gosh, I left my water all the way over there. And nobody's here but me and Leo. So Leo can't pass me my water. Anyway, so I looked up one of the a definition for self-discipline first on Oxford. I didn't like it. I was just kind of like, wah, 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 wah. But then I looked up the definition on Webster. Webster got it. See, that's why I grew up on a Webster. Okay. But Webster's definition, I think, is literally the definition on how I would like for us to explore self discipline and how I would like for you to, and how I believe I utilize self-discipline. So self-discipline, Merriam-Webster says correction or regulation of oneself for the sake of self-improvement. I'm going to say that again. Correction or regulation of oneself for the sake of self-improvement. You see why that's such a good definition, especially in the context of being a professional singer? Correction, right? So I know, okay, I had a rough show the night before. So I have to have the self discipline, first of all, to take note of what I was doing, and then have the self discipline to go back and correct or, figure out how to attack those challenging notes or phrases or whatever it is. But correction or regulation is something that is done consistently. You think of the government regulates, they have regulations, meaning they have rules to keep things running in a certain way. So when you regulate yourself, you kind of have rules to keep yourself running and optimally. Keep yourself running optimally, I should say. So regulation of oneself for the sake of improvement. That is the biggest thing. That's the biggest thing about self discipline. It's literally for your improvement. When we're talking about self discipline as a professional singer, it's literally for your improvement. That's the whole point. So, one thing I want to read that I wrote down earlier that was really important. Um, Here we go. Here we go. I said, a good time and memories are great, and some of them cannot be duplicated. However, longevity is built not on feelings or short-term memories or short-term moments, excuse me. And then the other thing I wanted to say was, where is it? Did I write it down? I said delayed gratification is necessary for self-discipline. Now, I know a lot of people don't like that. They don't want to hear that. Who wants to delay their gratification? But it's necessary in moments, and it's necessary in different times. And sometimes you're not going to be able to do everything that your friends who may have a 9 to 5 do, or you might not be able to do everything that people who have been in the game longer than you can do. You're not going to be able to do everything that rich people do. You're not going to be able to do, like, you have to understand that you're on your own path, and that self-regulation is a real thing. So yeah, there was something else that I had written down here, but I don't see it. Maybe I wrote it in a different box. But either way, so I wanted to explore 4 threats to self-discipline. I'm going to read that self-discipline definition one more time. Correction or regulation of oneself for the sake of improvement. So the sake of improvement is your singing, right? And remember, the first thing we said was you had to change your mentality to the fact that you are a business. You are a business. You are a business. Now, McDonald's is thriving, right? McDonald's is killing the game. I don't know why I keep using McDonald's. I have not eaten there since I was probably like 18. But McDonald's is thriving. And no, I take that back. That's a lie. I've eaten at McDonald's abroad. Because they food different and how they process is different. But that's neither here nor there. So you look at McDonald's. McDonald's is killing the game. Does McDonald's say, hey, we are complacent at killing the game because we're McDonald's, so we're not going to do too much of anything else? No, they have evolved. They've got competition, and what they've done is they've figured out other ways to stay ahead of the competition. They've figured out other ways to reinvent themselves, if you will. When McDonald's was getting trashed because their food was trash, I just mean trash in a nutritional context. They came out with a healthy menu. They came out with healthier options. So they've regulated themselves, and they've improved themselves. As society has changed, they have improved themselves. And I think that that's important to pay attention to with self-discipline. So, self-discipline doesn't have to be a curse word. It doesn't have to be the worst thing that you hear. Oh my gosh, self-discipline. No, it actually is your friend because it's going to help improve you. It's going to help keep you on track. And like the rewards are so much sweeter. Like they just are. And I don't want you to think that this is like, oh, such a sacrificial life, or like delayed gratification is all that you do. Because, like I said, there are other methods that I have that you could really maximize on different opportunities, and you can really live your best life. However, there are going to be times where you do have to have delayed gratification. An example I gave earlier was like, hey, say all your friends are going on vacation. They're like, oh my gosh, we're having a friendcation. It's about to be lit. Everybody gonna be there. We going on a yacht. We going on a beach. We going to the bar. We going to the club. We doing like they doing all the things, right? And you find out that you can go. You have enough money in your savings to pay for some bills, and you have some enough money in your savings to be savings. However, the money that's in savings, you might have to use that to fund the trip. I would never advise anybody to do that, by the way. But say you like, I mean, all right, I got like a little 2 grand, 2,500 sitting over here in savings. Like I could use that. I'm about to get this gig coming up, blah 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 blah. And that's another thing. Never bank on a gig that you think you have coming up, because dates change, artists change, all of these things change. Yet that's a whole nother topic we are going to discuss. I'm trying to told y'all I am putting y'all on game. But anyway, say hypothetically it's somebody you've worked with consistently, you're pretty sure that the dates are solid, but you find out that your inners are broken. What are your inners? These are in-ear monitors, right? So they're not working, and it's going to cost about 1,500 to get you a new pair of in-ears. Yes, that's how much they cost. They cost anywhere between like 12. Well, I mean, I guess you could get a cheaper one around 1,000, but these are custom molds. They're great. That's what you want, custom molds. But your custom molds are broken, and so it's going to cost about $1,500 to replace. The delayed gratification in that is, okay, well, I do have a couple dollars to get this taken care of. I do need my ears to do my job and do my job well. Do you skip all of it out and say, I'm gonna be all right. I'm gonna just use the little, whatever, I know these songs, it's fine, or, and go on vacation? Or do you take the 1,500 that you actually have in savings emergency fund, because that's what it's actually for, get the ears and perform your job? You see the delayed gratification and the choices and the self-discipline, all rolled into one. I'm going to give you the answer, okay? You get the molds. You get them done. You just do. Because anything, okay, I'll tell you why in a second. But you get them done. You get them done. That's going to be our reigning example. So let's jump into this. 4 threats to self-discipline. The first, number 1, anything that compromises you doing your job well is a threat. So that's why I said I'm going to jump into it. Now, if we look at the vacation, the lack of funds for real, like we take an emergency funds to go pay for the vacation just for the sake of the fact that it's a friendcation and everybody's going and they've hyped it up, and you don't want to miss it because you got to be in all the photos and the videos. I mean, if you can't afford it, you can't afford it. Like, that's just what it is. Okay. However, that vacation is threatening your ability to do your job well, because you have the money in emergency funds, and the emergency fund that you set aside is for emergencies. Your ears are not working. You have to have your ears work. Why? Because you're a professional singer. What does being a professional singer look like? It looks like being responsible and being professional. And what that also looks like is being able to do your job on a high level and being able to do it well. So number 1 is anything that compromises you doing your job well, that is a threat. So if if I don't have ears, my in-ears, my in-ear monitors, because they are broken and I can get them that compromises me doing my job well. Who is trying to hear me sing all crazy and off key because I don't got no ears? Okay, let me answer that for you. No one. No one. So that already puts you in a compromising position as a singer. Like you already are not going to be at 100%. You're already not coming in at 100. You're coming in, I don't even know what percentage that is if you can't hear, you know? So anything that compromises you doing your job well is a threat. And you need to apply self discipline. You have to apply the self discipline to say, hey, I'm not going to allow the fear of missing out to prevent me from being able to show up, represent myself, and do my business well. Like, that's just not smart. That's not wise. And it's dumb. So, the self discipline there, the answer is you got to get the ears. You have to. You have to. You have to. You have to. And I know that's not the answer that a lot of people want to hear. That's also probably not the answer that a lot of people are going to tell you. And at the same time, I'm going to tell it to you. Such is life. All right. Number 2. The second threat to self discipline. If it's going to cost you more than money, it is a threat. Now, the example I have here is time, regret, future, opportunities. Like, those are things that can be expensive and more than money. So if it's going to cost you your time or compromise your time, or if you're going to regret it, you know, if it's going to cost you something in the future or some future opportunity, it it's a threat. And your self-discipline has to kick in. What do I mean by that? Your time, right? So say we're going back to this vacation. Okay. Say you're going to do the vacation. Okay. So you can do it. So you got the money, the ears are okay. You can do it. However, it's a 2-week vacation and it encroaches on your rehearsal starts time schedule with another or with an artist. And your artist is like, if you can't be here for these rehearsals, then you might as well not do the tour. That's a threat. And you have to have the self discipline to say, okay, no, I can't do it. I can't do. All right. Regret. What does that mean? Because, that could be relative, right? You could be like, I mean, I didn't think I was going to regret it. But this kind of goes back to one of the things I was discussing a few days ago regarding your brand and regarding yourself and representing yourself. If you're going to regret it, say you're going on this vacation, perfect example. Say you're going on this vacation, all these pictures are being taken. And again, I'm approaching a whole bunch of singers. Like, I'm not just approaching, one specified singer. You can be a professional singer in whatever field you're professionally singing in. But here you go. You are going on this vacation. All the pictures are made, laid, and spread on out. You got all the money. It's fine. And the pictures are posted everywhere. But you work for a church, or you work for, say you're the princess at Disney, singing a whole new world, a dazzling shining. I don't remember the words, but say, that's your job. And you got to read them contracts too, by the way. But say that you work at a religious establishment or you work at Disney with children. These pictures are all over the place where you are twerking and living your best life with 3 cocktails in your hand. I don't even know how you're able to hold 3 cocktails. You are doing all the things. And that somehow gets in the hands of your employer. Is it worth it? I'm going to go with no, 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 no. Or even just to being out there in general. And then a couple years from now, you're like, oof, dang, that was me. Was it worth it? Regret. Got to think about that. Okay. And future opportunities. So what does that mean? That means, I don't know, say someone, I don't know why this example is popping in my head, but let's just use it. Okay. Say someone offers you a line of Coke, right? And they're filming it, you wilding, and it's a whole thing. And it goes viral just for the sake of, I don't know, black girls be wilding, wilding out, black girls. Who knows? I don't know. And it's all over the place. And say, I'm trying to think of someone that I know that, like, that's just random and this wouldn't be their thing. Okay, say um Usher. He's got a huge residency right now, right, in Vegas. Say Usher used to have a coke problem. He's like, I don't want none of that around me. Anybody that's doing it, I don't need them around me. I don't want them opening for me. I don't need them singing for me. I don't know none of them things. And then your name pops up. It's like, oh, this person is an amazing vocalist. This person is killing the game, blah, 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 blah. And then they stop and they go, wait a minute. I know that girl. She got that video where da 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 da. Now, this is a very extreme example. However, I really want you to pick up what I'm putting down. And then all of a sudden, I was just like, oh, I can't rock with her. She can't open for me. I can't be around that. I don't want to be around that. And so you missed an opportunity. Now, do I say, go around being, someone you're not? No. But also understand that you can limit yourself by how you represent yourself. And it takes self-discipline and awareness of that. Okay? Self-discipline and awareness of that. So, yeah, man. That's a threat, bruh. Number 3. If there's a short-term benefit and not a long-term benefit, it's a threat. So what does that mean? That means that if in the short run, it's good, but in the long run it's not good, then you have to have it's a threat. You have to have self-discipline. Here's an example. An example would be you're signing a contract for something and say that for, ooh, okay, mm-hmm, good example. Say you are going on American Idol and you're like, oh my gosh, I'm going to get so much exposure. Everybody's going to see me. It's going to be amazing. They get to vote for me. All my fans are going to go up. It's going to be lit, And you go on American Idol and they give you this contract and they tell you, hey, if you're in the top 20, you are pretty much locked to us for the next 18 months. If you don't get chosen, that's just what it is. However, you are still ours for the next 18 months. So in the short term, you're getting a lot of exposure. You're getting a lot of fans. You're getting a lot of hype. You're getting a lot of people falling in love with you, checking out who you are. And then say you make it to, I don't know, the last round and it's like you down. What is it? I don't even know how American Idol work anymore. Or The Voice. None of them. Let's just pretend it's one of them shows. And you down and it's between you and like 2 other people and you don't make it. Now you locked into this contract that you have to wait out. And this is a real contract. I don't know if it's 18 months and I don't know the full details on it. But yeah, you got a bunch of exposure. Now you have, I don't know, 250,000 followers. You've got all these things. People know who you are and your name, but you did not win. And you are still locked in a contract. That is a short-term benefit that encroaches on a long term. So now I can't really do too much of nothing because anything I put out is under them. Anything that I do is under them. You know, anything like you got to weigh these things out and recognize self-discipline. All right. I mean, this could seem like a good idea, but you know what I think it's not. I think I'm going to skip that. Thank you. Bye. Um yeah. You have to have the self-discipline to say no, thank you. And now here's the thing. If that's what you want to do and that works out for you, you're like, okay, that's fine. I could do that. I could take that out. This is my last shot anyway, my last ditch ever. So it ain't really going to affect me, but, maybe I'll just, I don't know, like I'm completely unaffected by it. Cool. More power to you. Do it. But you have to weigh your own pros and cons, but you have to pay attention to, you have to call things for what they are. These are threats, like for real. And the only way that a lot of these threats can be combated is with self-discipline. All right. And number four is if it puts your business at risk, it's a threat. What does that mean? Say, I like to use really dramatic, extreme, stupid examples because, I'm imaginative and funny. So, say, I don't know, your cousins want to go lava hunting. And you're like, lava hunting in Hawaii? Sounds like a time. I love Hawaii. I really do love Hawaii. It's one of my favorite places. I love Hawaii. Like, why not check out a volcano? This is something that's, never been done before. And, you know, um, it's trailblazing and it's cool and it's amazing. And you go on the website to just read a little more because you're so intrigued and you think this is so cool. Oh my gosh, we're gonna like lava hunt and get all these rocks and be near the um, volcano that's not gonna erupt, but it's still emitting something out in the air and it's still really, really hot. But yeah, we going that sounds like a good time. That's what I want to do. That sounds like a good time. That sounds terrible. Um, and so you reading up on all the things and it says, oh, may cause harm to your voice. Well, it's probably not going to spell out voice, but to to your chest, lungs, and vocal area. Does that sound like a risk or a threat to your business of voice? Yep, it's a no for me. No lava hunting for me. You gotta. Okay, I'm just saying. I'm just saying. Or say, they you get a job, um you get offered a job, I should say, singing covers in a hookah lounge, like right up in the midst of all of it. They're like, "Yo, man, we're gonna pay you like $1,500 just to come on in and sing some of your best covers. You could sing your own stuff as a band back here. You could have a great time doing it. Um, what you think? How you feel?" I feel like I'm not gonna be able to breathe the next day. And you want me to do this for how long? Yeah, I feel like that's a no. No for me. Yeah, if it puts your business at risk, and here's the thing, something could put your business at risk that's actually in your business. So, like that example, like, oh, we're just trying to get singers in here to sing and, liven the place up. Excuse me. That's your actual business, but it's still compromising your business, right? Say, I don't know, you got a singer that wants to do something that's compromising your business. You gotta say no. Yeah, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter who they are or what it is. If it threatens your business, then it's a hard no. You gotta bow out. So, okay, I've given you 4 threats to self-discipline. Now I want to give you 3 self-disciplines. Like, what does it look like and mean to have and be self-disciplined? So, going back to our definition again, which says correction or regulation of one's self for the sake of improvement, right? So, what would self discipline be? I asked you guys on Instagram before we came, what would we think self discipline would be? Well, self discipline is always going to be me thinking about the business and attempting to improve it at all times. And what does that look like? Okay, I'm a singer, I'm a professional singer. So I need to carve out time to improve my professional singing business, right? Okay. What does that look like? What does that mean? All right. Well, going back to yesterday's live, I need to make sure I carve out time to be able to rehearse. I need to be able to be sure to carve out time. One of the things that I do is I actually cover songs and then I like to like flip and do like different vocal production and stuff behind it. Why? Because it's improving my skills. It's improving how I approach vocal production. It's improving it's causing me to be quicker. It's making me keeping me sharp. It's keeping me using the gift that I actually have, the talent that I actually have. It takes self-discipline to do that. Why does it take self-discipline? Because nobody's paying me for that. Nobody's paying me for that. So I have to, my motivation is my self-improvement. So because it's something that's not tangible, like I was giving an example earlier, like when you have an employee or you have employees and, you know, you have an actual person, you're like, oh, I don't want to let that person down, but you don't want to let yourself down either. You want to be improving yourself. Yourself is the business. So you want to be giving yourself the best opportunity to win. And what does that look like? Well, it looks like self-discipline. Okay, so I need to make sure I have enough time to do at least 3 songs a week where I do some vocal production on it and play around, play around with placement and play around with harmonies and play around with voicing and play around with that. Okay, I'm also a writer. Okay, I need to make sure at least carve out some time to do 3 songs a week where I'm just writing something and I'm keeping my pen sharp. Okay, I'm a singer. Okay, I need to make sure I carve out time to be really, really honing in on my voice and my talents. Yes, it takes self discipline. It takes you regulating yourself. It takes you. Perfect example. I was on the phone with my mother earlier. My mother, my bestie, and she was going on and on and on. And I said, okay, Mom, I gotta go. And she was like, oh, where are you going? I said, I just have things to do. Like, I have to get back to doing what I was doing. Oh, okay. Self discipline. You're not trying to hurt nobody's feelings, but the business has to still be running and it still has to be sharp, or it'll stop. I was talking to one of my girlfriends was texting me earlier today, and she was like, "Oh, I just really need to talk about blah 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 blah." And I said, "I will be available in 45 minutes," because I had so many things that I had to do, and I was like, "I hope I gave myself enough time," and I didn't. It ended up being like an hour 15 minutes, but nonetheless, what I did do was finish what I was doing. I had to have the self discipline to do that. So yeah, you have to have self discipline to sharpen your skills. What is another thing that you need self discipline over? Obviously, your time. We talked about time yesterday. We kind of just talked about it just now. But what I mean is, what I like to do is I set alarms, I set reminders, I set a schedule in place that way so that when it rings, ah, okay, I know. I also know, like, okay, I've got this amount of time and I got this amount of time. So I really, really, really got to get it done. Self discipline. I'm just going to keep saying it. Self discipline. What is another tool that helps with self discipline? Lists. Lists are my best friend. When I don't write a list out, I feel like the whole day was wasted. I'm like, what did I do today? The list is so gratifying when you go check, check, did that, check, did that, check, did that too, check. It's a discipline that you really, really need to have. Like, I'm not trying to make you guys me. Let me be clear. I'm just trying to share with you what has worked for me. And what has worked for me is having a system. What has worked for me is having accountability. A list is actually accountability, believe it or not, because it's like, oh, okay, here's my list. Here's my list of things to do. Here's the things that I need to do. Okay, let me do them. Okay, I spelled all of these things out. Okay, check, it's done. Okay, did that. Okay, check, it's done. And it keeps you really, really disciplined. It keeps you on track. Having your time managed keeps you on track. Now, I know this sounds crazy as a creative, right? You're kind of like, oh my gosh, that's just so micromanagey. That's so this, that's so that. But the thing is, you aren't a hobby singer. You're a professional singer. So there's things that you have to get done. You have to. You have to get it done. Like, I have to write songs, or I ain't gonna have no songs. I gotta sing songs, or I ain't gonna have no songs. I have to work out, or my lungs are gonna look at me like I have 25 heads. You want us to sing what? Girl, buh. Self-discipline. Okay. And finally, the last tool that you want to apply your self-discipline to is money, 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 money. Money. That hurt my ears. I hope it didn't hurt y'all's. Sorry. Money, 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 money. Money. Self-discipline is so important in money as a professional singer. Like, I would even move this to the top. But the reason why is not going to be why you think. I mean, I can't think for you. I don't know what you think. But I'm saying that to say that self-discipline is so important as a singer, a professional singer, when it comes to your money because of how you're paid. So we are not 9 to 5ers. We don't get a consistent check every week or every 2 weeks, typically, depending, because I do have a job where I do actually get paid regularly. I worship director, and when I do music and I teach the kids, I get that regularly as well. However, that's not always the case. You know, when you are, well, if you're, say you're working on a cruise ship, you'll probably get a regular check, but you're typically contracted, right? So that check's going to end. And you might be getting bulks and bulks and bulks of money, but that check is going to end. You know, even when I'm on tour, I get a consistent check, but that check's going to end because that season is going to end. That time is going to end. And you have to have the self-discipline to understand that. You have to say, you know, I took this gig because, I don't know, say you are, I saw a while ago, like this was years ago, but I saw like contracts for like going to China for like 3 months and singing. And it was like a lot of money, right? I mean, a lot of money for a 3 month chunk of time, if you will. But then you remember, after them 3 months, I'm back home. And during those 3 months, I still got to pay bills. So you have to take it into account. Okay, I still got to pay bills, specifically for a spot that I'm not living in right now, even though you could put somebody in there, but you know, that's neither here nor there. And I still need to make this money that I'm making stretch until the next gig. That takes self-discipline. That takes systems. That takes discipline. So it's really important, really, really, really important that you begin to implement self-discipline. And the reason why there's so many different areas that you need to implement the self-discipline in, well, one, because you're an entrepreneur, basically. You're a singing entrepreneur. You're a business. But two, it's a muscle. I hear often that how you do one thing is how you do everything. And I don't fully believe that all the time, but I think that like for major things, I agree. So it's kind of like in self-discipline, in discipline. If I am disciplined, then that means that I know that I have the capacity to be disciplined. And so I'm able to apply this everywhere, you know? And yeah, how you do that is how you're going to, if I'm disciplined in my time, then I'm going to be disciplined in um, my money. If I'm disciplined in my money, then I'm going to be disciplined in approaching future gigs. If I'm disciplined in these areas, that means the muscle is being worked in discipline. And so when, I find out that I need to sit down for 2 months, basically, and not do too much in terms of spending, I know what that looks like. I know what I have to do. I know how I'm going to have to live, you know. For me, I feel like every time I leave the house, I'm swiping that card, child. So some days I'm just in the house. I'm like, I need to sit down. Okay. And it don't be for like a lot. It'd be like, oh, I need gas. Oh, I'm at the gas station. Ooh, that snack looks good. Ooh, like, sit down, girl. Or if I know that I'm gonna go out with my friends, I'm gonna be like, ooh, I wanna treat my friends. Yeah, and I probably should do that maybe once a week as opposed to 7 times a week. Every day. Yeah. Nope. Self discipline. It is needed. It really is needed, and it really is important. And some of the ways I can give you some examples of some of the ways that I have used self discipline. I've used self discipline in paying things off. I have used self discipline in, um, like I've said earlier, with singing. Okay, so I need to cut out this amount of time to do this, and this. Oh man, we miss you. We want you to come. Oh man, I miss y'all too. But I gotta get this done. I use self discipline in knowing that I've set these certain specific goals for myself and I have to achieve them, and it's going to take this amount of time in doing it. I've set self discipline where, um, like I said, the alarms and a schedule, done that too. Um, I've set a lot of self discipline for myself or given myself, I am pretty disciplined. I'm doing it. And then there's times I failed at self discipline. There's been times where I'm just like, oh, forget it. I don't care. I'm buying it. And then be looking at the bag like, what up? I broke a self discipline where I have, I'm out of here. I'm going. Go back to my second motherland, go to Puerto Rico and stay for a few days. Come back and then something ridiculous needs to be paid for. I knew I shouldn't have went. I broke a self discipline where here's one that's really crucial, where I was just like, oh yeah, I get it. I'll get the song. I'm quick. I can pick it up. Go to do the song and feel really uncomfortable. Wait, what's your note? What you singing? Oh, how high is that? Self discipline. It's really helpful though. It really is helpful. So, 4 threats to your self discipline are anything that compromises you doing your job and doing it well. Number 2, if it's going to cost you more than money, it is a threat. Number 3, if there's short term benefit and not a long term benefit, it is a threat. And number 4, if it puts your business at risk, it is a threat. And we said some of the tools to combat self are some of the tools to enhance discipline, scheduling, managing your time. Uh, we said scheduling, but scheduling also runs with like alarms and, setting set times. And then three, a list. Man, that list is your friend. I'm trying to tell you. Writing out a list of all the things that you need to get done for the day and then doing them, man, it's like the biggest accomplishment ever. You be like, ooh, I have killed it today. Look at me. And honestly, as crazy as that sounds, right? Hee, chuckle, 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 chuckle. It honestly motivates you. It motivates you. I know I said earlier I don't like doing administrative stuff, so I get it done first. I try to just get it out the way, or anything having to do with more brain power. I try and get it out the way. Anything having to do with the workout, I try and get it out the way. And what I've learned is that once I've knocked the stuff off of the checklist and the things that I don't really, really, really want to do, and they're out the way, like I am so excited to write a song. I am so excited to sing a song. I am so excited to get in the studio. I am so excited when okay, we studio in it? Yeah, let's do it. Like it's really, really exciting. So, I hope that this helped. Self-discipline is your friend. It is not a curse word. And yeah, I got some more stuff for you. I got a lot of stuff for you. I keep trying to move the mic because there's literally a fan right here, and I don't really want it to be picked up as strong as I hear it being picked up. But it's so hot that I can't even not have it on. Like I just can't. It's gonna set me up. I'll be in here like self discipline, sweat beads coming down my head. So anyway, yes. I hope that this helped. If this helped, please feel free to subscribe. And in addition to that, please feel free to share to your singer friends, share to your musician friends, share. It's really, really important that, you get your business in order. It's really important. Like you're going to have such a better feeling, such much more peace rather. Um, there's the adrenaline of living out here crazy, and then there's the peace of okay, I got it and it's okay. I'm fine. I feel good about that. That's cool. Oh, no problem. You know? So, please, oh please, feel free to share this with your musician and singer friends, and please feel free to watch it over and over and over again and write as many notes as possible. All right. So I hope this helped. And I have decided that you guys will see me tomorrow. Tomorrow. Forget about tomorrow. Who knows that song? I thought about, that's why we need to practice. Thought about today. 'Cause so much easier to say tomorrow. Promise you tomorrow. Better choose the Lord today. For tomorrow very well might be too late. Okay. Bye.